The mouse of the day is hidden inside of this container of cheese, guys. It's filled with a little bit of a liquidy cheese. This is a burrata variety. This is Fresh Fernando, but apparently Fresh Fernando's picture is hidden inside of this and I have to take a bite. I really don't want to, but ugh. Okay guys, Fresh Fernando is dripping wet and he honestly looks really disgusting. I don't even know if it's worth doing the video because he is so disgusting, but I'll do it for you guys. I know you love seeing Mouse of the Day. Mouse of the Day is pretty awesome and Fresh Fernando is pretty awesome as well. This is Fresh Fernando. Boom. Do you guys mess with him? He's a little bit disgusting, but I think he's cool. Before we get into today's video, don't forget to smash like, guys, and subscribe. And also, if you want to get some of your own Mouse of the Day trading cards, including Fresh Fernando and all the mice of the day 1 through 100, go check out awesomecheesemouse.com or the first link in the description. Guys, please forgive me. Fresh Fernando was literally disintegrating in my hand and the photo would not stay up any longer. So I'm just going to use Fresh Fernando's container and you can sort of imagine that it's the photo of him. There were actually a lot of Fresh Fernandos, all of them round, soft, and with an unmistakable scent of fresh cheese. Each Fresh Fernando looked identical to others, almost like little clones, and every one of them was involved in my signature dish at Uptown Cheese, the Fresh Fernando Special. Mice from all over the city would line up for a slice, and every morning I'd go into the kitchen to greet the Fresh Fernandos, each one of them eager to start the day. Each morning started the same way. I'd open the cool drawer where the Fresh Fernandos rested. All right, Fernandos, I'd say with a grin, who's ready to make some magic today? Their little voices, soft and squeaky, filled the air, bouncing around the kitchen in chorus. Riley, we are, they'd shout, sprinting out of the drawer, one by one lining up by the counter. It was funny, really. Each Fresh Fernando knew his job, knew exactly what he's created for, and he was proud of it. I couldn't help but feel a surge of pride too. There was something special about this bond I had with the Fresh Fernandos, knowing each one of them by name, or as much as I could. Their names were all Fernando, so it wasn't too hard to remember. Once the Fernandos were in position, I'd get to work. After spreading a thin layer of tomato sauce and sprinkling some basil leaves, I'd add the Fresh Fernandos in neat circles, watching as they nestled into the sauce, each piece a creamy, perfect circle. Here we go, Fernandos, I'd say as I slid the pizza into the oven, feeling that familiar tingle of excitement as the dough began to rise and the Fernando softened in the heat. The kitchen filled with the mouth-watering scent of baking dough and melting cheese, a smell so good it made my whiskers twitch. One afternoon as I was prepping for dinner, I noticed one particular Fresh Fernando at the end of the line who seemed different. He wasn't bouncing with the usual excitement. In fact, he hung back watching his fellow Fernandos hop onto the cutting board with a little nervous fidget. Hey buddy, I said gently, what's going on? Fresh Fernando looked up, quivering a bit. Well, it's just, I've never been on a pizza before, you know, he admitted, his voice barely louder than a squeak. What if I don't melt the right way? I don't know what I'll do. I couldn't help but chuckle a bit, patting him on his soft, cheesy shoulder. Fernando, trust me, every one of you brings something unique and special to this pizza. It wouldn't be the same without you, Fernando. He took a deep breath, squaring his little round form. All right, I'll do it. I want to make Uptown Cheese proud. With a renewed sense of determination, the hesitant Fernando joined the lineup, bouncing into position alongside his fellow Fernandos. I gave him a little gentle slice, layering him onto the pizza with care, watching as he melted alongside the other mice, each one forming a beautiful creamy layer that bubbled in the oven's heat. When the pizza emerged from the oven, golden and bubbling, I knew that something had come together so magically here. As I served the slices to the mice lined up outside, each customer took a bite with an expression of pure bliss. The Fernandos had done their job well, and I could not have been prouder. It felt good knowing each pizza was more than just food. It was a little bit of joy, a taste of Fernando's spirit. As the night went on and the last customers left, I returned to the kitchen to thank the remaining Fernandos. They were nestled back in their drawer, fresh and cool, and they looked up as I opened it. Great job tonight, I said to everyone, my heart swelling with pride. You made a lot of mice happy today, Fresh Fernandos. The little Fernandos cheered, their voices soft but happy. I laughed, closing the drawer partway, and then one of them spoke up. Riley, do you think one day we could go on an adventure? I tilted my head surprised. An adventure? What kind of adventure, Fernando? The Fernando wobbled thoughtfully, his round form shifting as he considered. Maybe somewhere outside the kitchen? I'd like to see the world. I heard Butter Bo got to explore outside and I've been curious ever since. I rubbed my chin, picturing how it might be. Risky, of course, considering he was just a little block of cheese. The Fernandos had to stay cool to keep their shape. But they had done so much for the Uptown Cheese restaurant, I couldn't deny them a little bit of fun. You know what I said? You're right. The Fernandos deserve a little bit of fun now and then. We'll plan something special for you guys. The Fernandos burst into excited whispers, bouncing and tumbling all over one another in a flurry of joy. As I closed up for the night, I couldn't help but smile, feeling that same thrill of excitement. There was more out there for the Fresh Fernandos, and I was ready to show them the world, one cheesy adventure at a time. The next night, I returned to the kitchen with a plan. The Fernandos were already buzzing with excitement as I opened the drawer. I hadn't told them exactly what I had in mind, but they could sense something special was on the way. All right, Fernandos, I announced, holding up a small cooler with ice packs inside. Tonight, we're going on an adventure outside the restaurant. We're going to one of my favorite places, the park. The Fernandos let out a collective cheer, their voices squeaky and bright. "The park! The park! The park!" they chanted, bouncing in unison. I grinned, placing each one of them into the cooler, making sure that they stayed snug and cool. I secured the lid and made my way out of Uptown Cheese, the cooler clutched tight in my paws. The night was cool with a slight breeze rustling through the alleyways as I navigated through toward the park. The city was much quieter at this hour, which was perfect for our adventure. I had kept the cooler close, feeling the excitement from my little mozzarella friends inside. When we arrived at the park, I found a cozy little spot underneath a tree and gently opened the cooler. The Fernandos tumbled out, blinking in awe as they looked around at the towering trees, the open sky, and the soft grass beneath them. It was the first time they'd ever been outside the restaurant at all, and I could see the wonder in their round, shiny faces. "Look at the stars," one of them squeaked, pointing to the night sky. "They're so bright." Another Fernando bounced around in the grass, laughing as he rolled across the soft blades. "This is amazing, Riley. I didn't know this world was so big out here." I watched them explore, feeling a deep sense of pride and joy. These little cheesy balls had given so much to Uptown Cheese, and they deserved the taste of freedom and adventure. They bounced and rolled, and each one of them explored the park in their own unique way, marveling at each leaf, each rock, every tiny bug they encountered. They were just so happy to be here. After a while, one of the Fernandos looked up at me, his eyes wide with excitement. "Riley, do you think we could make pizza out here? Just once, please?" I thought about it, a grin spreading across my face. Why not? I've always wanted to keep a portable stove in my bag for emergencies, and with a few ingredients, I could create a little pizza out here under the stars. "All right," I said, pulling out the stove and my emergency stash of dough, sauce, and toppings. "Let's make the first ever outdoor Fresh Fernando special." The Fernandos cheered, gathering around as I kneaded the dough, rolled it out, and spread the sauce on top. They lined up eagerly, ready to be sliced and layered onto the dough to make the perfect Fresh Fernando special. Even though we weren't in the kitchen, each one took their positions with pride, each one settling into the sauce with a new sense of purpose. As the pizza cooked on the little stove, the smell filled the air, mixing with the smell of the fresh park. I watched the Fernandos melt together, their creamy textures blending perfectly. The stars twinkled above, and the gentle hum of the city seemed to fade away, leaving just me, the Fernandos, and our little pizza under the night sky. When the pizza was ready, I sliced it into small pieces and handed each one to the remaining Fernandos. They couldn't technically eat, just being low blocks of cheese, but they appreciated the gesture, I'm sure. I took a bite, savoring this familiar, perfect taste of the Fresh Fernando special, made even better by the magic of our setting outside. After we enjoyed our pizza, I carefully gathered each one of them, placing them back into the cooler with a gentle little pat. "Did you all have fun, Fernandos?" I asked as I closed the lid. "Yes, Riley, that was the best night ever," they squeaked, their voices muffled but full of happiness. As we made our way back to Uptown Cheese, I felt a warm glow in my chest. The Fernandos had been a part of my life for so long, helping me bake the best pizzas in town, but tonight they reminded me of the joy of sharing moments with others. Back in the restaurant, I returned the Fernandos to their cool drawer, each one settling with a contented sigh. "Thank you, Riley," one of them said as I closed the drawer, "for everything." I smiled, my heart full. "Anytime, Fernandos. We'll have more adventures like this soon, I promise." And as I locked up for the night and headed home, I knew that Uptown Cheese wasn't just a restaurant. It was a place of friendship, adventure, and a little bit of magic from time to time, thanks to the Fernandos. So do you guys mess with Fresh Fernando?